Jordan looked back at me and he said, I know you don't have that shot in you. As Jordan stepped up, I stepped back, and from 26 feet, he became only the 6th player to ever score on Michael Jordan in this event.
Don Yaeger is a nationally acclaimed writer and 4-time New York Times bestselling author who has spent more than 20 years working with some of the greatest champions of our generation. Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, Annika Sorenstam, and Tony Dungy, asking each of these champions to answer the question, what makes the great ones great? As Don steps to the stage, some of the biggest names in sports will introduce him.
Now please welcome my friend.
My friend.
My friend.
Now please welcome my friend Don Yaeger.
The topic today that we're going to talk about is what makes the great ones great. What are the characteristics that make the most successful people in the world of sports? And those characteristics are not just about sports. What are the characteristics that make them successful? Things that make them tick, things that make them win. And how can we possibly apply those characteristics to our lives?
Business leaders, educators, and major associations such as Anheuser-Busch, Dell, John Deere, Chevron, and the American Land Title Association have utilized Don's captivating life lessons to enhance their employees' leadership, team building, performance, and customer service.
Don's message was thought-provoking and touching. Most of the attendees are still talking about how the principles he conveyed have life-changing application.
And Wharton started crying again. He said, now I have to tell you, he said, as a kid growing up, he said, my mom was 16 when she had me. We grew up together. But she was so full of lessons, and she had so much to teach me. We've talked a lot about it while working on the book. He said, but the lessons she imparted on us as her children on a daily basis is that it didn't matter if you were white or black. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor. It didn't matter where you lived today or where you were going to live later. There is one thing that we are all assured. There's one thing we will all have in common, Betty Smothers used to tell her kids, and that was that at some stage, adversity is going to rock your soul. Something is going to happen to you that will change the direction of your life. It will change where you're headed. It'll change the way you wake up the next day. As we went on, I realized that, one of the most important characteristics of true winners, the really great ones, understand that adversity is a moment that can be used as fuel. Adversity is something that can propel you to a place you didn't think you could go before. Adversity takes us places we never expected. And Betty Smothers was right. When that moment hits you, you have those choices. You see, Warwick Dunn will be the first to tell you, if that night doesn't happen, his mother today would be living in the grandest house in all of Baton Rouge. He would have bought her the most beautiful place you could ever put someone. But because that night happened, 233 kids woke up this morning in a home that their mothers get to call their own. Betty Smothers offered her son that piece of advice. Adversity is going to hit us, and I don't know what yours is. Could it be the economy? Could it be worse than that? 6 years ago, they told me I had cancer. 6 years later, I get to stand here and tell you I'm a cancer survivor. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who you are. Betty Smothers is right. Something will hit you. And when it does, you've got those choices. Bitter or better. Which are you going to be? She encouraged Warwick to do better. I would absolutely argue with you that his mother is sitting there quite proud right now.
Don is a great inspirational and motivational speaker, the likes of which you guys probably haven't heard before, but you need to. We've had him at now 3 events where we've sponsored him to speak to a large group of our, not only our customers, but also employees. And I would highly recommend him to anybody.
And it really became a lesson to me about the great winners that I've talked to and about that characteristic that I will tell you is so important and is, in fact, I think, among the most important of these 16. Do unto others, karma, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line is that the great winners that I've worked with understand that character is defined by how they treat those who cannot help them. And as I think of Walter, and I do often, I think about him and how his children saw that in him. I think about how my son, born 5 weeks ago, will see that in me. And I think about what an amazing and powerful lesson that is for all of us. And that if we could all have a little more of that in us, imagine how great life would be.
FSAE hires lots of speakers every year. And what we want for our audiences is someone who delights and inspires them. Don is able to do this through the stories and the anecdotes of messages that he has gathered from the many sports leaders that he's worked with over his career. The good news is it's not about sports. It's about universal languages and messages of hope and motivation that will delight and inspire your audiences too.
If you come here every day, you will compete in practice with the best player in America. And every day, if you come here, you will get an opportunity to be coached by the best coaches in America. If you have anything inside of you that can take you to the next level, you will find it here. And Swin Nader will tell you, I know I was brought to UCLA to make Bill Walton better. But the most amazing thing happened, see? In that process, I got better too. So Coach is explaining it. That's the value of association. See, it doesn't matter in this room, as we're looking at this audience, I don't see a Bill Walton or a Swin Nader in the room. I have seen a couple tall guys, but not anyone that's at 7 foot tall. But it doesn't matter if you are the Bill Walton in this room or the Swin Nader, because the truth is most of us are Swin Naders. Most of us are trying to get better. But if you're the very best there is in this room, and a Swin Nader approaches you trying to learn something from you, it's your job to take that person in. It's your job to become a mentor, your job to help them grow. And if you're Swin, which most of us are, it's your job before we leave here to find someone to ask that question of. It's your job to learn.
The insight that Don has on these individuals, the depth of those individuals, and the way they live their lives is an inspiration to all of us.
Inspiring.
You want to leave with something that you can take out and improve your career with. And definitely Don did that today. He really brought it home.
Motivating.
I am absolutely blown away. I think this was certainly an opportunity of a lifetime. It isn't very often that you get to go into a speaking engagement like this and walk out challenged, and I'm still reeling to take it all in.
Captivating.
I believe what Don brings to this is the ability to translate greatness in sports into greatness in life.
Let Don share lessons from the greatest champions in sports with your audience. To learn more or to book Don for your next event, please visit DonYaeger.com.